something hasn't happened for UGA since 2021, since they've been a underdog. That's how long it's been since Georgia's been an underdog, and a true road game underdog. The last time that happened was 2020 at Bama.
At Bama.
So it's been a long time. Georgia has been talked about as the premier team in college football, and man, I think this week is a lot of people going to be pulling against Georgia. They're obviously the underdog, and I think there's been a lot of reason to question so far what you've seen from the Dogs. So let's start there with Georgia and Texas.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the last road dog 2020 at Bama. You remember who the OC was for Bama in that game? That would be the current head coach at Texas, Steve Sarkisian. So, a lot of similarities there, but what's interesting about this game specifically to me is that what you've seen Texas dominate on both sides of the football the entirety of the season. The sort of complete team moniker, whereas Georgia has struggled in certain areas and struggled on the road at Bama, struggled even with issues with Mississippi State last week. And you haven't seen a 4-quarter game from them, even with the Clemson game. It was a struggle in the first half. So it's one where what prevails? What you've seen prevail, or does some of these scheduling and competition that's been played maybe make things look a little differently once you get on the field?
Well, so speak to Texas first. Average of 37 points a game winning. Closest game has been 22. They've played 2 quarterbacks, obviously. They've played a lot of youth, replaced a lot of guys, but continued to be really, really dominant. And then Georgia, the biggest thing for me, man, I haven't seen them play a complete game yet. Like, we can go to Clemson, like you said, first half struggle, second half kick it in gear. Kentucky, first half really, really struggle, second half better. Auburn, same thing, like slow start, actually kicked it in gear in the second half. And then Mississippi State, great first half, bad second half. Alabama, bad first half, great second half. So a lot of inconsistent. But one thing that here's the thing to realize, and we alluded to this a little bit on Saturday. Carson Beck, the last 3 games, Brent, 50 attempts, 48 attempts, and 29 attempts. So just whatever you think about Georgia in the past, conservative, run the ball first, this is Carson Beck's team, and they're going to go as far as he takes them. And his numbers aren't as bad as you think they are. He's had some bad moments.
Especially in the last 2 weeks, he's been really good. He's
put up some stupid numbers. He looks really, really good. And he's got a matchup against Texas that I can't wait to see, because, listen, dude, styles make fights. Every week is different. Like, not every game's the same. When you go into the Alabama game, Alabama was extremely cover 3 centric, didn't blitz, was very conservative. They played Georgia, their first team with real competition. They changed a lot of things up. They ran more zero coverage. They became more aggressive. When you watch Texas's defense, here's what I see, Brent. I don't see a game breaker, a game wrecker. I don't see that guy. I wrote down Colin Simmons. I think he's really, really good. A better pass rusher than run defender. I think you can run at him.
Yes.
But good player. But I see a lot of good across the board in this matchup. So I don't see. I don't think this is the defense that I say is going to shut Georgia out. I think Georgia is going to be able to have some success, and I think their wide receivers are going to be able to have some success. I think they're going to be able to score some points. So I like this matchup for Georgia, even though Texas is the best team in the country, the most complete team.
I would agree. The style part, the styles make fights. I think that's the one where Ewers is not a running threat when you look at the other side of the ball. At least he hasn't been. He was more so last year, especially against Bama in certain instances. But like this year, he has negative yards on design quarterbacks runs. It's just not a part of his game. But does get the ball out real quick. Doesn't really, at least hasn't consistently pushed the ball down the field. I think that that sort of plays into Georgia's hand defensively, but also, like you said, Texas defensively. 45 on the interior. Broughton, I think, he's maybe one of those guys. But outside of that, it's a very, hey, we got 4 down linemen. We're letting our edge guys go. We're playing very, very small variations in terms of coverage, and maybe they haven't had to, and you're going to see a lot of different things from them. But their linebackers play very aggressive, very downhill. I think the middle of the field for Georgia is going to be one that they can have some success there. But
which is Carson Beck's strength.
Yes,
Carson Beck's strength is tackling the middle of the field. Listen, we're not acting like this, like Georgia's got all these advantages and Georgia's clearly the better team. That's not what we're saying. And I think Quinn Ewers, the reason I don't think he runs as much this year, because I think he knows the answers to the test now. And when I watch him against Michigan, when he scrambles, eyes downfield, bro, he's trying to make big plays. And when I watch, Quinn in the years past, I think he would take off. Carson Beck, if it's not there, he's running. Like, he doesn't bring his eyes down, bring them back up. Like, he's going to take off and he's going to run the football. So Isaiah Bond on the outside, elite speed. Georgia's secondary, the more the season has gone on, you see more and more cracks on that side. So I think Texas can make big plays. I think we're going to get scoring in this football game. I think both sides, like Sarkisian is the best play designer in the business. He is absolutely the best at it, man. Like, he uses your eyes against you. He uses motion against you. He spits the ball in the perimeter with easy plays that gets first downs, that get drives going. And so I think this is going to be a war, but I do think Georgia looking bad and not looking as consistent is a good thing for Georgia. Like, continue to push that button. Kirby has ammo. Texas has heard how good they are. Listen, dude, these are 18 to 19 to 20 to 21 and Cam Rising, 55. But like, some kids, they're younger. They've been told they're really, really good. Texas at home, obviously a huge advantage. Second big atmosphere Georgia's had to go to with going to Bama. So they've kind of seen it and experienced it. I think this is going to be an absolute war. I think it's going to be a great football game.
Yeah, and one to me where I feel like it's, as long as Georgia takes care of the football, I think it is that. But it's also one where if they don't take care of the football, much like Alabama, Texas will take very much advantage. But the one point you made about Ewers, I think that's the watching him this year is, if he's pressured in any way, his ability to feel it, move, and then attack down the field, his average depth of target almost doubles when he's pressured. He's looking down the field to hurt you when he's pressured versus in the normal structure of things. And one of the things you meant with Sark, what I love watching with his offense is that he makes you defend both sides of a play, formation, everything. It's, hey, we got run game on going over here. We've got quick action over here. We've got RPO. Everything blends together, which to me is the anti of something we're going to talk about here in a little bit in another game.
Yeah, and I think this game boils down to one stat. Texas has given up one sack all year. They've kept their quarterbacks upright throughout the season. Georgia's pass rush hasn't been great, man. It hasn't been consistent. And so if that continues with the bookend tackles, Texas got, by the way, haven't had a O-lineman drafted in the first round since 2006, I think, Brent. Like, I think it's something like that long. So almost 20 years. I think they got 2 tackles that could go in the first round. Like, that's how good they are on the exterior. Jalen Walker has to show up number 11. Like, they've got to find guys inside with Ingram Dawkins and Mykel Williams. Like, they're going to have to play their best game on the interior. Texas hasn't run the football particularly great, but they do such a good job of, wearing you out a little bit and running the football when they need to. So I think that will go a long way in deciding the football game. Dude, this next game, I think Georgia's going to win. I really do. I thought Bama was going to beat Georgia, but I think Georgia, I think they're going to have a lot of success on offense. I think defensively, I think they have a chance I think they're going to give up big plays. I think they're going to give up, eye discipline plays, but I think physically up front, I don't think we've seen the best Georgia we can see. And I think they're going to put it all together in a big game. I think they're going to play really, really well and force a few mistakes and keep Quinn Ewers in the pocket. Like, I'm serious. That's what I want to do. I want to keep him in the pocket and I want to make him beat me from there and make them do it consistently. And if they get in the red zone, by the way, make them pound me. Make them pound me on that side of the field. Don't give up big plays. And I think Georgia finds a way to win this football game.